To test the ESD equipment, you first connect that to the box and you attach that to your wrist and hold that in the opposite hand and press the button. If it's not working, one of these red lights will show. If it is working, the green light will show. And also, to test this wire, you do the same. Hold that in one hand and hold this in the other hand. And again, the green light shows, so the wire is fine.
The motherboard one with the clip. Come out. First, I'm going to remove the PSU unit. Right, so that's the power pack. Out of the way. There we go. Take out the IDE cable now, which to take out the IDE cable, it's just pull that, like orange bit. If they don't have one, like all of these seem to have them, which is lucky. I can't say one. This one has a cable thing, but if they don't have them, you have to grab them by the side and pull it out. It only goes in one way anyway, so which is useful. So I'll just take this out. I can get it out with the motherboard coming with it. There we go. So, the IDE there. Oh, so I'm taking the motherboard out now. So take out the motherboard with this, just grab this and pull it. Loosens off the case, and then we can just lift the whole thing out.
First of all, when removing drives, you take out the cabling to get that all out of the way. Carefully removing it so you don't bend any of the pins. You push these two together and just lift. Should easily come out, otherwise you have a problem. And again with the other ones. Remember to put it on the ESD mat so it's protected from electrostatic discharge.
I don't think many people come to this. Same. I've got most of it done, but I'm still missing a few bits. On Moodle it says it's infrared Friday. I think everyone's I was on mine tonight, to be honest. I knew it was implemented.
Installing the optical drive, it's quite easy. Hold it by the tabs and just slide it into place. It's the only place where it will fit, so it will go there. The more difficult is the floppy drive, as it may be able to fit into the hard drive slot as well. And again, that just slides gently into place. And the hard drive is exactly the same. And it clips in. To safely input the motherboard, first place it on the bottom of the case and gently slide it in. You should hear a satisfying click and minimal movement afterwards. I'm going to install the power supply unit. Again, just place it on the bottom and gently slide it in. Try and keep the cables out of the way while you're doing it.
So to put in the RAM, you want to check the manual on the computer, the motherboard even, to be able to see if it has dual channel memory, and if it does, which ones to use. For example, the dual channel might be this one and this one, but in this case it's this one and this one. So we're going to be using these two here because we have 2 sticks of RAM. So I'm going to close off this one here because we don't want to be using these ones, so I know which ones I'm going into. It's very easy to find out which way to use RAM. You just pick it up the same way as you would do before. Make sure you don't touch the gold pins. Make sure it's in line with the actual slot itself, and then just put it into place slowly and carefully so you don't break any of the actual RAM. And then all you do is put a little bit of pressure on either side until they go in. If they don't go in with a slight bit of pressure, it's probably because you've got it the wrong way around, or it's not made for that board. So just don't press too hard because you might break it. So we'll go ahead and do the same thing again with the other one. So just quickly, there you go. We're going to put the CPU or processor into the motherboard now, and what you have to do is you line up the actual pins with the board. It's kind of difficult to see, but what you do is there's a little column there. There's a little triangle right here. You can't see it, but there's a little triangle there, and there's a little triangle also on the CPU, which you can see, which is right here. You line them up with each other. If you can't see them, then what you do is you line up the actual pins themselves. Like, as you can see there's 2 missing on this top portion right here, and there's also 2 missing on this board that I can actually see. So you line it up that way. All you do is you place it on top of it. Once it's in, you shouldn't be able to move it at all, and you just add a little bit of pressure and it goes straight in like that. If you have to add any more than a little bit of pressure, and by a little bit I just mean just tapping it a bit. If you have to put any more pressure than that, then it's not in the right place, so just take it out and try again. And if it is in the right place, then just try a little bit more, but just be really careful. Then all you do is once it's in, just get the arm, push it down, and it clips underneath it, and then that's it. The whole CPU is now locked in place. Okay, so now we're going to put in the cables, which these ones are not SATA power cables. These are just normal IDE power connections. So these ones are pretty simple. They only go in one way. They have a little, like, they're square on the bottom, but on the top they're like a 45-degree angle, so they will only fit in one way. So this one has to fit this way around. You need to make sure you get the right ones in the right place, because I mean, if I put this one here, it's not going to be able to fit for the floppy drive to be able to plug in, so this one will have to go on that left side there. So we'll go ahead and put this one on the hard drive here, and it just goes in. This one is probably the most amount of force you'll attach. With the computer, you just press it down, it'll only go so far and then it'll just stop. So, and then you know it's in. Same again with the optical drive, it goes in like that. And then the floppy drive is a slightly different one because it's a slightly smaller connection. So, but it'll only go in one way anyway, so which happens to be this way, I'm sure. There we go. Once you've got them in, that means now they're powered, so if we turned it on, they technically would turn on. Yeah. So, but now what we need to do is we need to get some connection from the devices to the motherboard so they can communicate with each other.
Gently slots into the floppy drive, and that slots into the motherboard. You can tell the hard drive IDE cable because it's got a little picture here for the hard drive. It slots into there and into the motherboard. It's got a little picture of a disc on there, so you'll be able to see that it goes into the optical drive. Find the correct end and press it in. And the same with the motherboard side. Gently just press it into place without bending any of the pins. And the same with this end. There you go. The audio cable just slightly slides in there nicely and into that slot there into the motherboard.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is we're going to turn the machine on. The Windows disk is already placed in the drive, ready for us. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on the machine and press F12 to get into the boot menu. So it's then that we can boot directly from the disk, so we can install the Windows XP. So once it comes up here, we just press F12 now. Once we press F12, it tells us what we can do. So we want to go to the CD drive, on board or USB CD drive. So you just press enter to select the drive, and then it asks you to boot. So you press any key. You just press anything on the actual keyboard itself, and then it will go into the boot. So this is the Windows setup. It's now going to tell you a load of options if you want to do extra things, but we don't. We just want to go in, format the drive, and install Windows. So we're just going to wait for it to load everything up for us. What it's doing now is we are formatting the drive, as the drive hasn't been used for anything. So as you can see, it's a new RAW, which means it's no file types. It's not a FAT32 or an NTSC or anything. It just means that it's a completely blank drive ready for use. So it's just formatting it now, so then Windows will be able to accept it and we'll be able to install Windows onto it. As you can see here now, it's just going ahead and copying all the files directly to the hard drive, ready for use. So then, once this is finished, we'll be able to boot straight from the drive and just kick straight into Windows XP. Okay, so this is the Windows XP installation. This is now actually in the operating system, technically speaking. The bit that we saw just a minute ago has finally finished, and we've got it installed on the hard drive, so now we're actually inside of Windows and it's just finishing stuff that is actually required for when you're going in to actually use the Windows. As you can see, it has a time here of what approximately it thinks it will be finished by. You have this at the bottom, which is like a loading thing, just to show that it's not crashed or anything, so you know it's continuing. What's the problem?
The problem is that the keyboard's not working.
Keyboard's not working at all. Okay. So first I'll just make sure it isn't working, which it's not. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to check the drivers are functioning correctly. Yeah, as you can see here on the screen, there's no driver installed before the actual keyboard. So what I'm going to do is I'll plug it from the machine, plug it back in again, and that should reinstall the driver. So, find where the cable's plugged into. Unplugged it, and then plug it back in. Because it is a plug and play device, so it should work now. Or when it's installed, it should say. There we go. Keyboard should be working now. I'll just go to text for it. Yep, keyboard seems to be working 100% now. So, there you go.
Okay, what seems to be the problem, Stephen?
Well, I came to the computer this morning and tried pressing the power button, and there was it didn't turn on, so.
Okay, I'll just check it. Yep, that's not working. I'll just see if this G came out of the back of the PC. Yep, that's it. And is turned on at the plug. So it must be a problem inside the PC. So I'll just try that.
Okay.
Okay, just opening up the case. See if the P1 is connected. And it seems to be a bit loose in here, so I just press it down. And try it again. And it's on. So that's
Okay, so what seems to be the problem?
OpenOffice doesn't seem to be working.
Alright, well I'll just run it just to see if we get any errors or anything. Okay, so we seem to be getting an error. Apparently something's not working in the actual folder that it should be, and it recommends reinstalling the application. So what I'm going to do is go to the control panel here, and go to add or remove programs here. Find OpenOffice, which is this one here, and there should be, if I go to the change option here, we should be able to click repair. Again, next, there's a repair right here, so we'll run the repair. And what this will do, we'll check what is available compared to what should be available, and any files that aren't there, it will then reinstall them to fix the problem. Alright, so now it's ready. All I do now is click the install button, and it will now go ahead and install the files that are missing. So now it's finished doing the repair. I'm now going to check to make sure that OpenOffice is working correctly. So we'll open up the shortcut on the desktop. OpenOffice seems to be working. We'll just double check by opening a text document. And the text document has opened, and we can type So there you go, your Open Office is now working as usual.
Thank you, sir. No problem.
Well, I came onto my computer today and for some strange reason it looks really different and like the colour's different, so I'm not quite sure.
Okay, it appears to be changed to a high contrast
Okay.
appearance. So what I'm going to do is right click, go into properties, appearance, and as you can see here, colour scheme, and I'm going to change that from high contrast to Windows Classic. Apply.
Oh, there we go.
Okay,
Brilliant.
it's back to normal.
Thank you very much.
No problem.